I'm 63 years old. I did 30 and a half years with the New York City Police Department. I retired as a detective from Manhattan North Homicide Squad. And after that, I went to work for the U.S. Marshal Service as a contract marshal to supply security for the U.S. Attorney's Office.
John had a severe stroke. When he first had the stroke, it took 3 people to move him in bed and 3 people to get him from the bed into a wheelchair. And he was unable to stand, unable to dress himself. It was hard for him to look to the left, and obviously he wasn't walking.
Well, of course, it's probably the most frightening thing that a person can undergo. Is because there's so much that we do daily that we take for granted. We don't even think about it, because our mind is a fascinating machine that has us do things that we don't even really think that we're thinking about to do. Brushing your teeth, putting on a buttoned shirt, things such as that. When you have a stroke, now these things become major things to tackle,
right,
to get them done. It's not something you used to be able to do it and not even think about it. Well, that's no longer the case. So it is a very, very hard thing to come to grips with. And to know that you're going to depend on a handful or a dozen or 2 dozen people to get you from that situation back to what you were seems like a task that is insurmountable for the best. But what I found here at Allied is that they do have the best. They say they do miracles here. It's not miracles, but it's small victories every day,
yeah,
for those who want to recover.
John is a big guy. He's over 200 pounds, and he couldn't stand because the leg would not support him, but also he didn't know where he was in space, so he would push away from whatever you gave him to hold on to. So he now is leaning. So you have 200 pounds of somebody pushing against or away from what you give them to lean up against. So it's impossible to start to stand, let alone to walk.
Right.
So we were able to use different technologies, but the one that we used was the zero gravity, or the zero G. And this gives the patient support, and they can stand up and they cannot fall. So it takes a little convincing, but then the patient understands that they cannot fall, and they're allowed to stand and figure out where their middle is, and also how to put weight on their leg that they don't know is there. And then from there, everything else progresses.
This technology, I think, is outstanding because, as I said before, one day you're as normal as every guy on the street, and then boom, you're entirely different. It changes your whole world. And there are things now when you try to do them that you realize you can't. It's as though you forgot. And for you to get into the rehab, even with physical therapy, with very talented people, just as Marie said, when you don't trust your leg to hold you anymore, you need something to tell you, yes, it will.
yeah.
And so when a therapist says, John, let's take this cane, and trust me, I'm not going to let you fall down, but we'll take a couple of steps. And to me, that was the most important thing, was to take a couple of steps. You were first introduced to the zero G. They explain to you that this is an aid, and that it's going to allow you to re-experience something that you used to just do. And with their help, you start to take those few tentative steps and understand, yes, you can do it. And that in time you will probably be able to do it without the aid of the device, and or even a cane or someone holding you up. And that's what we're all looking for. We all want to return to that life we had before the stroke.